Hello. I was just sitting here, very, very bored. And I had been watching a video from the Financial Diet talking about talking about the different types of boredom and how some boredoms are really good for you and they're actually quite productive, which is like, that makes sense. Um, but I was just sitting here and I was thinking about, life and what I want to do with my life and all those big questions I ask myself every single second. Um, and I was thinking about how, um, like, learning to become stable, especially financially stable, and learning how to develop a secure life can be very, very boring. Um, and it's so interesting because I think one of the struggles that I have had, and maybe a lot of people can relate to, is just, and maybe it's because of this day and age where we have visual access to so many people's lives, um, and to social media, that it feels like life should be a lot more exciting and like we should be doing a lot more with life. And especially if you're somebody who feels guided to have a purpose or to have some type of meaning in their life, um, everything can feel like a really big deal. With every second and every day and year that passes by, that you don't feel like your life is something big or leading to some type of profound impact or change, either within yourself or to the world. Um, and I was thinking about how, I want meaning in my life and I want to contribute, and especially during the times that we're living in with what's happening with our planet Earth, and wanting to show up for her and care for her, and then for all the people and different things that people are going through and the systems are battling, the struggles people are having. You want to live a life, or I would like to live a life of meaning. Um, and then also, my simplest desire is just to have a life of stability, of financial stability, and to be able to buy a home and settle down and find a partner and have a life with them and raise a family and do that whole thing, which is, I guess, just my like biological instinct to just be human and to reproduce and find love and survive and create a life for myself, and for my family. It's an interesting thing, and I feel like I'm trying. I feel like where I am right now, like the phase that I'm in right now, is trying to get over the rush of dopamine, the rush of, you know, that you get from always making decisions and always having something coming up and always having something to contemplate. Like, I'm getting back to working consistently, and this week has been a bit of an off week, um, because I've had some things happen in my personal life and I've been off with communication, so I don't have a lot of work coming up this week, but I do have some consistent work coming up. And it's been interesting just seeing how I'm reacting to like different things around finances and whether I can work for myself or whether I want just a 9 to 5 or like a stable, secure job where I don't control my hours and I just get told what to do and then I go home. It's interesting how much freedom I am willing to give up in order to not have to make decisions. And I'm not villainizing that part of myself because, I really need to consider who I am. Because, of course, people change and can grow and become, to be able to fulfill a certain dream or desire of life. But also, you kind of are just the way you are to a certain extent. And that doesn't need to be something that you need to run away from or be or detach from. So I'm also trying to reconcile with, like, who am I really when it comes to work, when it comes to, career and profession, and how I'm going to be able to provide for myself. What kind of worker am I? Am I someone who can have their own business? And in many ways, I do. Um, I am a freelancer and I am an entrepreneur, but it's kind of like trying to understand what I enjoy more and what will provide me with the life that I desire the most. It's interesting. And I've started getting back on the dating apps. And so I'm on there, and it's a bit of a slow trudge. Not a whole lot of conversation or attention. But if I've learned anything from this summer, especially from the job hunt, it's that more than anything, perseverance is what gets you what you want. You can't stop applying for jobs. You can't stop looking, and it's the same thing I'm imagining when it comes to love. You can't just stop. You have to keep going, and you have to remain perseverant in the face of rejection or invisibility, seeming invisibility. And so I think I'm trying to apply that to my life. And it's, there's an aspect of to it that it's just like you just kind of have to work hard, no matter what. Everything requires work, and life is easy if you allow it to be, in the sense that it can actually be quite simple if you just focus on what you desire. But then your desires and achieving those require hard work. And my desires are financial stability and independence and a family. And those things I have to work hard for. And so I had to work hard to find a job, and I'm now in a position where I have job opportunities. And now I need to work hard to find a partner because I'm 24, and while I'm young, I would like to live most of my life in a relationship, and I would like to have a lot of time with the person that I love, so I don't really want to slack on finding them. I spent a lot of my life out of relationships because I was not one of those people who, was always being seeked out in high school or university. So I've had a lot of time to get to know myself, and I'm much more interested now in understanding how a relationship can work and how I can build a life with someone and figure out what that looks like. Though I do sometimes have my desires to live on my own because I still live with family, my desire for a relationship is much stronger, so I wouldn't want to delay that in order to, have certain experiences of living independently. But yeah, I'm just, I guess, thinking about life in that way, and it's interesting how boring it can get. And it's just, whenever I am bored, I'm like, oh my god, well, am I like wasting time, or is this a sign? Should I be doing something else or something? But life can be boring sometimes, especially when you're in a stable and secure place. And I feel like I'm just itching to do something because I want to be having like constant awakenings and revelations and new experiences. But I feel like that's just like an addiction that I probably need to move past and begin to accept a bit of the slow life that comes with stability and with a plan and with a routine. Have days off because that's also something I'm going to need to figure out how to balance, having days off and things like that. So yeah, I guess I'm just learning how to be an adult, and a lot of it feels really boring. But yeah, I feel like part of the boredom could be cured by finding love, but I'm also trying to not overwhelm myself because I'm supposed to be doing a no spend September, so I should be focusing on that. But yeah, it's hard not to feel like, is something happening? Something please happen. But yeah, and then the other thing is like when life gets boring, it's just kind of like, well, what am I doing here again? And I am really trying to understand whether there is a purpose to it all. I do not know if I think that there's a purpose necessarily to it all, but I do believe that, life is kind of what you make of it to a certain extent. But I am trying to figure out like why I'm here. I would like a reason, you know? It's like, why am I here? What was the point? Because some people like they're born and then they cure like cancer or they invent electricity, and it's like, okay, clearly like you were here to do something, specific, and that's amazing. It's like, so what am I here to do? And if it's as simple as like I'm here to like make somebody smile, like okay, but I just would like to know, I guess, because I hate being in the like weird gray space where it's like, am I on the right path or am I doing what I need to be doing? It's a bit boring and it's a bit exhausting. It's just like, what is going on? But overall, it's fine. So